Hello and welcome back. This is another fifth grade math video, and this one is going to be focused on word form. Okay, here is our first practice problem. And what word form is, it's the idea of taking numbers that are written out in words and rewriting them into standard form with digitals or numbers or numerical digits like we're used to. So standard form are the numbers that we're used to, and word form is just the number written out as words. So you won't hear me read a lot of these word forms out loud because I don't want to give anything away, but you're going to, so if you see me get quiet, that's why, because I'm trying to make it so I don't give everything away by reading the word form out loud. So for this first one, we're going to be doing, how do you write this in standard form? So it's basically, how do you write that phrase with digital, or sorry, not digital, with numerical digits? Okay, so let's start with this word. This is the word for. So then we know our number starts with 4. And from these 4 choices, it looks like they all start with 4. So that didn't eliminate any choices for us, but that's okay. And then this is 100. So we know the 4 is in the hundreds place. And this says 90. So 90 is represented like this, 90. So now we want to look for the number that has 4 in the hundreds place and 90 right after it. So not this one, but this one, because that first one has 4 in the hundreds place, but it has 50 after it. And the second one has 4 in the hundreds place and then 90 after it. And these other two are not the same. So that would be our answer to this one. Okay, here's our next one. How do you write that phrase in standard form? Okay, so let's take it one step at a time. We are starting with this number, and that says 78. So I'm going to write 78, and the word right after it is thousand. So that means the 78 is in the thousands place, where we have 78 thousands. So I'm going to just write that for now and then look through my choices to see which of those may match that. The first two also have 78,000, 78 and a comma, but this choice does not, and neither does this one. So I can eliminate those two choices right away. The next phrase I see is 500. So that means there's a 5 in the hundreds place. Of my two choices left, both of those have 5s in the hundreds place. So that didn't help me eliminate anything, but I'm one step further. Then this phrase over here says 54. So we would write that as 54, or 5 tens and 4 ones. So this is what the number would look like in standard form. And we can see that it matches our first choice, because our second choice has a 7 in the tens place instead of a 5. So that one would not be correct. All right, here's our next one. This one's kind of switched around because we're taking it from standard form and finding the appropriate word form for this. So we're going to start with this number here, and maybe we'll start with just what comes before the thousands, comma. So maybe 820,000. So let's go through our choices and see which of those has 820,000. So this one says 880,000. So that cannot be it because we need 20,000. 800,000. Okay, there's no 20 there. So this one cannot be it. 820,000. Okay, so this one it could be it. 820,000. Okay, so we have two choices left after we kind of eliminated from the first round. The second part of the number says 88. There's no hundreds. There's 8 tens and 8 ones, so that would be 88. So let's look at our two choices again. The third choice, 820,000, it does have, but then it says that there's a 9 in the hundreds place, or 900. So that cannot be our choice. So that means this one down here, since it's the only one left, has to be the right word form. Okay, here is our next one. We're going to write this number in word form, or we're going to pick the word form from the choices. Let's start with the number that comes before the thousands comma. 208. So that means that's 208,000. So let's go through our choices and find which one says 208,000. It looks like this one does, this first one does, the second one does as well, third one also, and the fourth one. So that didn't help us, but that's okay. All right, the next part of the number is 148. That's 100, 4 tens, and 8 ones. So let's look through our choices and see which of those matters. Now, we don't have to look in front of that line anymore because we already checked those, and those are all the same. So this one says 100. Okay, so that's 1 in the hundreds, but it says 58, not 48. So it cannot be this one. This one says 700, but we need one that says 100. So it definitely can't be that one. And I can just cross off the whole thing. Okay, 148. Awesome. Okay, this third one is the one we need because it has 100 and then 48. So it's got to be this one. Now we can check the last one just to be sure, but it has a 7 in the hundreds place. It says 700. So it cannot be that one. We needed 100. Okay, this is our last problem for today's video. How do you write this in standard form or with numerals in and digits and place values, basically, or as a regular number, as some people like to say? Okay, let's start with this phrase here. This 958,000. Okay, that's a big phrase, but because it comes before the thousands comma, I can write it as 958 and then put that thousands comma there. So let's go through the choices and see which one of those have a 958 before the comma. Looks like the first one does. The second one has a 998 instead of a 958, so I can eliminate that one. Then there's another 958, and then the last one again has 998, not 958. So I'm going to eliminate that one. So I've eliminated 2 choices already. Now let's go through the last part. 124. Okay, so this is the part that comes after the comma. 124. So we don't even have to look at what comes before the comma. We only have to look at what comes after because we already checked what comes before. So we need a 124 after the comma, and it looks like the first one is the one that gives that to us. Let's check the third one that we still had just in case. 122. So that's not quite right because we need one that has 4 ones, not 2 ones. So we're going to go ahead and eliminate that. So the answer here would be the first choice. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in our next video.